Tanse everyone! Today I'm going to show you a little cool science, and this is something you can do at your home with things you have at home. You don't need to go to the store and buy stuff. I promise this is all stuff you have at home. So what you're going to need is 2 containers. They don't have to have lids, but mine does have a lid. Yours don't need lids. You're gonna need 2 glasses. Now, well, they can be cups, but they need to be see-through. And you're gonna need some stuff that you can freeze. They can be toys or they can be random items. It doesn't really matter so much what you freeze. So I'm gonna freeze some cotton balls, some puzzle pieces, some measuring spoons, and some binder clips. If you have salt at home, then that's great. That's something additionally you can use. But if you don't have salt at home, that's okay. You don't really need it. We can still have fun and do these science experiments without salt. All right, so let's take a look at the first thing that we can do at home. Okay. So in this first activity, we are going to take our 2 containers and we're going to fill them with some water from our sink. Okay, so I filled my container with some water from my sink. It doesn't have to be hot or cold. Just turn your tap on and fill your containers. I filled my containers about 3/4 of the way full. So not right up to the top, but there's quite a bit of water in there. Here's the first science experiment. We're going to find out what items sink, which means float to the bottom, and which items float, which means they stay on top of the water. Let's check it out. Okay, so here's my first container. I'm going to add in my puzzle piece. Do you think it's going to sink or float? Let's find out. It floats. It's on top. All right, next we're going to add in my pom-poms. Do you think they're going to sink or float? Let's find out. Those also float. All right, next I'm going to add in my binder clips. Do you think they're going to sink or float? Those sunk right to the bottom. All right, my last item. This is a measuring spoon. Do you think it's going to sink or float? Let's see. Oh, that one is floating. But look, something happened to my pom-pom. One of my pom-poms sunk to the bottom, and one of them stayed on top. Now they both sunk to the bottom. Hey, there's another science question. Why do you think the pom-poms floated at first and then sunk to the bottom? Oh, let's try. Let's squeeze the water out of it and see what happens. Okay, do you think it's going to float or sink now? Oh, it floated for a tiny bit, but then it sunk again. I think the pom-pom fills with water, which makes it weigh more, and then it sinks to the bottom. All right, well, there's all my items in the first container. I'm going to put the lid on it, and then do the same thing to my second container. In the items go. And on goes the lid. Okay, so my lids are on my containers. I had a little bit of fun seeing what would sink and what would float. But that's not where this science experiment, fun activity ends. Now it's time to put them in the freezer. What do you think is going to happen to our water and our items inside? There's really only one way to find out. We need to test it out. I'm going to put them in my freezer. All right, so they've been in my freezer all night and all day. Are you ready to see what they look like? Let's see. Oh my goodness. Can you guys see? What happened inside my container? It doesn't look like it's water anymore. I think it's ice. Let's see. Wow, can you guys see that? Look at my items are frozen inside my container. That's pretty cool, hey? Let's see if it happened to the other container. Yeah, that's frozen too. Water, when it's really cold, freezes. And anything inside the water freezes in the water too. There was our second learning. Now, how do you think we can get our toys out of our container? I mean, after all, I need those measuring spoons and I might want to put that puzzle together. I know. This is where we can do another experiment. Okay, for our next experiment, we're going to find out if warm water or cold water melts our ice faster. What do you think is going to melt our ice faster? Do you think warm water is going to melt our ice or cold water is going to melt our ice? There's only one way to find out. You got to try it out. Okay, friends. So this is my ice container and this is the warm water. Let's add it in and see what happens. I wonder. Let's see. Oh, it's still pretty frozen. And it made my water go quite cold. All right, well, the warm water didn't really do much to get my frozen items unfrozen. Let's see if the cold water does anything. The cold water didn't really do too much either in this experiment. Everything is still really frozen in there. Oh, I just want to get my puzzle pieces out. I wonder what else we could try. Okay, so the container with the warm water didn't really melt fast at all. In fact, everything is still frozen in there. And the container with the cold water is still frozen, although it feels colder than this one. But remember how I said at the beginning, if you have some salt, let's try adding salt to one of our containers and see if that melts it any faster. Only one way to find out. You gotta test it out. Okay, I'm gonna add my salt on now. Oh, that's a lot of salt. What do you think's gonna happen? Can you guys hear what's happening? What do you think's happening? Can you hear that sound? Let's add a little more. I think the ice is cracking. Let's see if it made it any easier to get out our pieces. Okay, let's see if we can get it out. Oh, it's moving. Wow! So the container with the warm water and the salt made the ice melt just enough to get my teaspoon out. Now let's see if we can dig with our teaspoon and get the puzzle pieces out. Whoa. Oh, it's really hard to get these puzzle pieces out. They seem to be really frozen. Even with the salt, I can't get them out. I have an idea. What if we try adding more warm water? In fact, let's bring it over to our sink and let's add the water right in the container. All right, friends, this is some warm water I'm adding. Let's see if it's gonna make a difference. It did! The warm water made my puzzle pieces come out. And I see a pom-pom. Whoops, I see it, but I can't get it. It's still frozen. There it is. I got it. Do you see anything else in there? Yeah, look, a pom-pom and a binder clip. Let's get it out. There's one binder clip. And last but not least, my last pom-pom. Ooh, it's really stuck in there. But look, let me turn off the water. Look what happened to my ice. Remember how my whole bucket was full of ice? Now it's just water and one little binder clip. Wow. Let's see if we can get this pom-pom off. It is really stuck in there. There we go. It came free. So my container with hot water and salt worked to free all the items. Now, what about this container? This container, we tried only cold water, and that didn't work. So let's put some more salt on it. Adding our salt. And now, oh, can you hear it? The salt is crackling the ice. Pretty cool, hey? All right, let's add some cold water to this and see if the cold water does anything to melt it. I'm pouring my cold water on the ice. I got my spoon out. See if I can get my other items out. They're really tricky. All right, friends. Well, I tried keeping the cold water on this for almost 5 minutes. And look, it didn't melt. All I was able to get out was my one spoon. So I think hot water and salt do a better job melting ice than cold water and salt. How did yours turn out? Send me pictures of your experiment. But don't go anywhere just yet, because we're not done. We have one more experiment to do with ice. Hey, you guys stuck around for our second science experiment with water. Okay, great. So what you're gonna need are your 2 glasses from the beginning of this video. Now, it's really important that your glasses are clear because you need to see what's happening inside them. So make sure you have clear glasses. You're also gonna need some ice and some clear cling wrap, just one little piece. Now, if you don't have ice cubes, that's okay. You can fill your clear glass with some water and put it in the freezer so that it freezes. Or maybe you have some ice left from the first experiment we did. Put some of that in there. I have ice cubes, so I'm gonna use my ice cubes. I'm gonna put 1, 2, and they're kind of stuck in here. There we go. 3. I put 3 ice cubes in each container. Now, this container, I'm gonna leave just like it is with its ice cubes and no lid. This container though, I'm gonna wrap the top in my cling wrap like that so that the whole thing is sealed off, just like that. Next, I'm gonna find a sunny window to put my glasses, and then I'm gonna become a scientist and watch what happens. What do you think is gonna happen to the ice? Do you think it's gonna melt? Okay, then here's another question. What's gonna happen to the water once it melts? Know what's gonna happen? Well, we're gonna find out. And to find out, we have to try out. So we're going to put it in a window, leave it. Once it melts, don't touch it, leave it some more and see what happens to the water. Okay guys, so it's been about 3 days and I checked on my glass containers. And here's what happened. My glass container that had no lid on it, look, it's empty. The ice is gone and so is the water. The ice melted into water and then the water evaporated into the air. And my container that had the plastic on it, that looks a little different. The ice is gone, but the water didn't go anywhere. You can see the water on top of the plastic. It looks like the water tried to evaporate, but it couldn't get out. So it stayed in the container. Let me show you. There it is, the water droplets on top and the water inside. I hope you guys had fun with these 2 science experiments involving water, ice, and things you have at home. Thanks for participating, thanks for learning, and we'll see you next time. Examaga!